Guys, what a game on Saturday. What a game. I mean, I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, like, before that Bulls game, I reckon I had that first All Black Test team against the Springboks down to a T. I reckon I had the first 15 nailed on, and then most of the replacements. I thought, yeah, I just felt I knew what Rennie was doing, and now I don't know. I have no fucking idea what he's doing. What's he going to do? Like, well, there's so much to talk about. DMAC might be injured. First of all, DMAC was just, it's nothing. Nah, he'll be fine by first test. And now it's like, oh, I'm a bit concerned. So, what is this? Is this a mind game from Rennie? Who knows? Will Jordan was another one that was super concerning. He had a back niggle. So you worry about that when it's to do with the back. But now he's supposedly fine. Oh, man, it really is. It's really interesting. There's so many questions now, and maybe this has all just come to a head now because we're a week away and it's time to play a little bit of mind games with Razzie and throw a few little, like questions up there and be like, oh, I'm not too sure about them or this guy. Because, I'm half expecting Razzie to name his team in the next 24 hours, right? I mean, that's what he normally does. So I don't know. It's interesting. We're in that week. Maybe there's some mind games going on, but if DMAC is out, we've just seen Clark get ruled out. Um, it throws up a lot of questions, right? Well, let's get into it. All right. So I know I carried on there for a minute. This is not the team selection for the first test. Um, I'm actually just going to go over the Bulls game and how I saw that, and a couple of things that came out of that. Um, I want to talk about ALB and Rico Ioane. Um, they proved me wrong. I mean, these guys are looking like totally different players since they came back from overseas. And again, that is another tick in the column of players that play overseas coming back better players. We've seen it with Morby. We saw it with Geordie Barrett. Now we've seen it with ALB and Rico. Yeah, something that needs to be talked about. I've got a couple. Oh, I've got a video that I did a couple of weeks ago about eligibility rules and what I think could benefit New Zealand, but that's for a different day. They have been outrageously good, but let's temper expectations because they've only played a handful of basically second string URC teams, right? So let's not get carried away. These guys need to do it at test level before we can say that they are, legit. But they have, I think they've earned a shot. I'm not saying it's this weekend, but they've definitely earned a shot back in that test team to see what they've got and if they can get back to previous form. Yeah, so that was the first thing. Well, actually, it wasn't the first thing that I wanted to talk about, but it was the first thing that came into my head. The first thing I want to talk about is that front row. What a performance from that front row, right? First minutes of the tour for Numia, Cody Taylor, and Tyrell Lomax, and they turned that scrum around. Like, again, URC competition, but the Bulls are probably the toughest forward pack out of the three teams that they've played so far. So that'll give them a lot of confidence, especially when you have two guys who should be starting against the Springboks and Cody Taylor and Lomax. Lomax is a renowned scrummager, probably the best tight head in New Zealand, and a big part of, you know, providing that rock solid sort of scrum for New Zealand. And yeah, he didn't disappoint, right? Straight in there, and they won a couple of scrum pens, and just it was solid throughout. So really good signs. I wouldn't say it is going to give the box problems yet. They're building nicely, and it's showing that the scrum has life, and I like that. And we should all be, you know, we should all be a little bit happier and a little less nervous over that scrum and the tight five in general, really, because I thought Holland was excellent. Um, but I mean, this throws up another question, right? Holland played 80 minutes. Tuipulotu was the one that went off earlier. So are we to read into that and say Tuipulotu is definitely starting against the box with maybe Darry? I see that just. I still think, even though Holland played 80 minutes, he's going to go again. Him and Tuipulotu, I think, are a good combination. You know, Tuipulotu's the physical sort of lock there, whereas Holland's the line out guru, and Darry is a little bit more the like of Tuipulotu. So for him to come off the bench and replace Tuipulotu would make a lot of sense for me. But I did think Tuipulotu coming off the bench made a lot more sense. He does offer a lot of impact when he is coming off. So who knows? But that is another question I've got about this. Side note, Holland I thought was excellent. He dropped the ball once or twice and he had that absolute mare on their own try line. But he's such a good like he's just he's everywhere. He's making a lot of big tackles, a lot of dominant tackles. He's strong in the tackle, like carrying the ball. Obviously, great in the line out. I just think he's a dead cert. He's got to be one of the first guys you pick in that forward pack. To be honest, I thought Larkai was also really good. It's just again, it's a toss up between him and Satiti, who gets on the bench, right, for the All Blacks. I'd love to see both of them because imagine those two coming on, like to really just ramp it up. They're not the tallest guys, the biggest guys, but for just X factor and pace and raw power, like you could do worse than having both of those guys on the bench. I don't think it's going to happen, but it would be something to watch. Segner, I mean, everyone's talking about Segner. He was incredible, like just pinching the ball like a proper seven, but just he's everywhere. Just, oh man, just such a good tackler. Super, super deceptive, eh? Like people just don't think he's got like that strong carry or strong tackle in him. And my God, he's got it. Like, just what a performance. Another one that you just want to see in that 23. But for me, like, I just think Blackadder, the way Blackadder changed the game against the Stormers and his impact against the Sharks, he's so noticeable. Rennie will absolutely love that. I think he's on the bench. I really do, as a like for like replacement for Jacobson, if needed, or even just like Tupuvai, Um, but yeah, what else? What else did I like? Thought Ratima was good. He needed a decent game after Preston put on that clinic the other day, and he did well. I thought he played well. I don't think he did anything crazy, and I thought Preston was good as well. But again, that's just a 50-50. It's going to be whoever Rennie prefers, and I think it's probably Ratima to back up Roygaard there. I've already spoken about ALB and Rico. But here's another thing. Like I had before the Bulls game, I would have had, um, well, if DMAC was fit, right? If DMAC was fit, I would have had, um, Morby, Fehi, or Clark going for that last wing spot, and one of them on the bench, right? So ultimately, one of them would miss out. If DMAC's not playing, then you can obviously move Morby maybe back to fullback if you want to keep Jordan on the wing. Um, and then, with Clark going home, I was like, oh, yeah, easy. So Fehi Finianganofo will take that last wing spot. But, I mean, you look at Leroy Carter and the game he had on the weekend. Like, he looked really good. Really good. Just able to beat that first tackle. Great hands. The amount of balls that Bowden Barrett put right behind him and he just clawed it in with one hand was just really, really good. Um, he's all around the park too, eh? Just work rate. I really like him. I didn't really like him when he came on the scene last year. It's taken me a while to warm up to him, but I can see how beneficial it could be to have him in the team. Not for every game, but I think he could be one for this weekend. And if not, definitely off the bench because he does cover multiple positions, even halfback, right? In fact, a lot of people are talking about a 6-2 split this weekend for the Springboks. So if that was to happen, then Carter's definitely on the bench. And then my whole selection's gone out the window anyway. So, but yeah, just a really good game last night, I thought, against the Bulls. Nice final hit out. They'll get a lot of confidence from that. And it's just nice to see like the All Blacks going from, like pretty rough against the Stormers to like putting out their first team and having a really good crack against the Sharks. Looked really good, but still some wobbles there, especially at set piece. And then to go out there against the Bulls and yeah, they come up leaked a few tries. There was one or two. There was that one, the scrum the Bulls had on halfway, and then they just like went down the blind side and just tore New Zealand to shreds. That's a bit of a worry. but I thought the All Blacks didn't really give them all that much. So again, another really improvement on the week before, and seeing the areas that we were worried about improving as well is just really, really good to see. And Josh Jacob, I missed him out, but hell of a performance. And you got to ask yourself, is he now jumped ahead of Bowden Barrett in the pecking order? Like, he obviously doesn't have the experience that Bowden has, but he he didn't miss a beat, did he? Like, that 50-22 off his left foot. Um, and just I just had some really nice touches. Was really unlucky in the second half. Almost went through to score. In the end, he managed to turn around and offload it for I can't remember who it was now to score. But yeah, I just thought he was really good performance from someone who's only played like what 20 minutes before that. So yeah, really good performance from him. Um, and like when you start seeing like everyone having good performances, like look, there's nothing against Josh Jacob, but he's sort of come up from Super Rugby. He never really stamped his authority in Super Rugby, right? We never saw like full on commanding performances from him. And I just worry. I've just got this thing in the back of my head that says there are too many players in this team. I've already spoken about ALB and Rico, who are just looking really good. And look, maybe it could be Rennie's system. Maybe Rennie is just like, I don't know, the back whisperer, and he is just getting all these guys humming. But I do have my doubts when everyone is like hitting their straps, and you're like, nah. I guess after the last 2 years and all the shit that we've had to watch, it's like, nah, when we're something's wrong here, something's not right. So I hope I'm wrong. I hope everyone is just like peaking at the right time. Rennie has these guys going, and everyone is just playing out of their skin, and it's only going to get better. That's what I want to see, but I'm trying to temper my expectations. Guys, it's a little bit of a raw off cut sort of I don't know um, non-stop spew about the Bulls game. I'm just trying to get all my ideas and thoughts out there for that one before we move on to the game this weekend. I've got another video coming out in 2 days with what I think the team will be, which is going to be brutal, and probably I won't get half of them right, but it doesn't matter because we're just here to talk through all the possibilities and to have fun. So yeah, I'm going to come up with another video in the next 2 days talking about what my team will be. And yeah, just ramping up the excitement because we're less than 7 days away from the first test. Um, man, yeah, not much else to say, guys. Let me know what you thought about all that, how you saw the game, and how confident you are. Are you guys confident? Like, are we overconfident now? Do we feel like we're going to be able to like compete? I mean, we're going to compete in the series. Can we win this series? Like, are we being ridiculous here and thinking that we can win this, or I don't know. Like, I don't want to. I don't want to get carried away. Like, we're playing the Springboks. The Springboks know how to win. They know how to win. They just did that against Argentina, right? They got outplayed by Argentina and they still won. And the other thing, on the flip side of that, they know how not to lose. They literally know how not to lose. I mean, you look at how many close games the All Blacks have had. Yeah, the Box just seem to just be able to get over the top. So it's going to take everything. It's going to take everything for this New Zealand team. But one thing I will say is a lot of people think that this first game will be probably New Zealand's best chance to win. And while that may be correct, I don't think that means that the games after the first game, the second, third, and fourth game, I don't think that means that the Springboks have a better chance in those ones. I really don't. Like the All Blacks, yes, they've played a few games in a row. They're probably more match fit than the Box. So yeah, they can get in there and get a win. But this is a young team. It's a new team, right? This is Rennie's team, and they've only been together again for a couple of months, right? This is the start of a new regime of coaches, and they are only going to get better. Like we've seen in the last 3 weeks, this team is only getting better. So to think that the All Blacks will have one crack at this in the first game and then that'll be it, and then the Box will get over them, I think it's an absolute load of bollocks. Like this is going to go down to the wire in every single game. So let's get excited. Let me know what your thoughts are, guys, on all of that. And watch out for my next video. Subscribe. Please subscribe. Really helps the channel grow. And please comment and like. As always, I love hearing what you guys have to say. Guys, take it easy.